Hello, Lateral over here, and we're back today on F1 2020. And as you can see, we're doing another track guide, and this time we're here at Japan. As always, we're doing one lap at full speed, one lap in detail, and then I'll show you the setup. That was the lap then. As you can see, it's a 1 minute 25.9. Now we're going to go in more detail with that lap time here so that we can master this track. Starting off with the final chicane before the lap even starts, just focus on getting a good exit and then activate the DRS before you head down this straight, waiting for turn 1. And now into turn 1, the turn-in point is that little road on the left side of the track, and the braking point is just as that curb on the right ends. And for turn 2, you're braking while turning the entire time, so it's a very difficult braking zone. And then short shift into 5th, use all of the curb on exit, and then for this corner, not quite flat, and for the corner right after, brake around 5 meters before that curb on the right side of the track, and slide the car through there. And then for this one, use the inside curb just to lift, no braking. And then for this one, brake around 5 meters after that curb for this corner. Use the curb to rotate the car. You can see we went a little bit wide on this lap, but through Dunlop now, not quite flat. You can see we lift slightly as we go through the corner just to avoid spinning. And now through here, just stay to the left, and then into Dagner 1. The turn-in point is that 50-meter board, and it's only a lift. Use all of the curbs that you can get away with, and you can see we're braking around 5 to 10 meters before the curb ends. Don't touch the grass. Use all of the inside curb and all of the exit curb. Short shift to 4th, and now heading into the hairpin, braking just after that curb goes out of your view. As you can see here, you have to use the banking to your advantage, so turn in early to allow yourself to carry enough speed with that banking. Short shift to 3rd, and then focus on a good exit. Now down this curved bit, stay just close to the right side of the track before heading into Spoon. The turn-in point is that 50-meter board, and the braking point is that orange bit of the barrier just after that goes out of view. Use the inside curbs, and then brake a little bit more for the second part of Spoon, down to 4th gear, and then exiting now. No short shifting, just focus on a good exit onto the straight, carry as much speed as possible out of Spoon, and then just head down the straight, make sure you don't clip the grass, and then through 130R, stay to the inside to keep a short line, and into the final chicane. The braking point is around 5 meters before that 100-meter board, and then turning in while trail braking, use all of the inside curbs on both parts of the chicane, short shifting into 4th as you can see. And then to finish off your lap, stay close to the wall on the right, and that is a lap of Japan. We're going to go in detail for each part of the setup now, starting off with the aero. We're using 3/8 wings. Obviously we need that low front wing, because we've got the main straight as well as that little curved section before spoon and that very long straight after spoon. So we need to be very quick in a straight line, and that low front wing allows us to do that. But we also need to have a very stable rear of the car because there's lots and lots of high speed and flowing corners on this track, as well as a few traction zones out of the hairpin and the chicane. So it's important that we have that rear stability as well. For the transmission, using 50-55, which I run around quite a few tracks because I just find that I get good traction, good rotation, as well as good stability by using these settings. For the suspension geometry, once again, we're not using -2 on the rear. We're using normal settings for everything else, -2.5 on the front camber and minimum toe. But for the rear camber, I tried -2, and there just wasn't enough stability, especially through that first sector. So I needed to take -1 on the rear, and I was able to make up for it by finding rotation in other parts of the setup. So I just stuck with that setting. For the suspension then, we're using 1.8 on the suspension, 1.8 on the anti-roll bars, and 2.4 on the ride height. And those suspension and anti-roll bar settings are where I find a lot of rotation. It's where a lot of setups find a lot of their rotation, by running very low on the front and then very high on the rear. You don't want to go too high, like 111 on the suspension, or else it'll just be incredibly oversteery. But you could work with 1.8, 1.9, maybe 1.10, and it'll provide a lot of good rotation as well as still keeping a stable car. So that's the settings I generally like to use on most of my setups. For the brake pressures and the brake bias, we're using 100% brake pressure and 50% brake bias as usual. For the tire pressures then, using minimum as always. There's not much of a reason that you would want to run anything higher, so it's usually always minimum for any track. But that's going to be my setup then. Obviously, not every setup works with every driver, so if you're struggling with it, then obviously make a few tweaks and adjust it to your own driving style, but hopefully you can find some improvements. That's going to be it for this track guide then. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as I post F1 content 3 times per week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.